Procrastinators are actually highly self-motivated people. But the issue here is we tend to prioritize that need for instant gratification. So that means we get easily distracted by trivial things, which Hello my loves, Iyidolls here and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be providing us with tips on how to be much more effective. Tips that would help us follow through with those tasks, those big goals that we're trying to work towards. If you're watching this video, chances are you are a master procrastinator or you're a procrastinator of some sort. You're typically putting that need for instant gratification above your priorities. Now, these tips are so easy to initiate. Immediately you finish watching the video, you can start practicing the tips that I'm going to provide to you, and you're going to start seeing a huge improvement in your effectiveness and overall efficiency levels. Contrary to popular belief, procrastinators are actually highly self-motivated people. I'm a procrastinator. We're usually very motivated people, but the issue here is we tend to prioritize that need for instant gratification. So that means we get easily distracted by trivial things, which could be Netflix, it could be watching a YouTube video while working on a project that you were supposed to focus on, it could be jumping on a phone call, it can be scrolling through Google, learning about the most random facts, right? That instant gratification differs for every single person. So that's your first tip here. You want to pay attention to what your instant gratification monkey is, aka what easily gets me distracted. This is because the way our central nervous system is wired in such a way that it focuses more on those things that are comfort, those things that are easy to do for us, as opposed to what we really need, which is those things that we term as hard but really help us grow as individuals.
For example, if I had to choose between watching a movie on Netflix or editing my YouTube video,
it's a no-brainer. I'm gonna opt for the Netflix video because it's easy, the gratification is instant, and also it doesn't involve a lot of thinking. But what's gonna make me grow is actually editing my video and posting it up for you guys to watch. And this is where we fall into that trap on a regular basis, where we usually just keep opting for that instant gratification. So the first thing you want to actually focus on is understand what easily distracts me. You want to understand that first. The easiest way to do this, I would say, is just studying yourself throughout the day and legit taking note of every single thing you do that day. Once you have an understanding of what your instant gratification is, you can jump into this next step, which is attaching deadlines. We have some priorities that have deadlines attached to them. For example, if I have a paper due in 2 months, as a procrastinator, I'll probably start working on that paper 2 days before it's due. Damn! That means I'm going to stay up all night. That means I'm going to be beating myself up, asking myself, why didn't I make use of the time that I had previously? But here's the fact. A lot of priorities in our lives don't have deadlines attached to them. If you are trying to start a business or grow your business, there really isn't any deadline attached to it except you attach it yourself. So to trick yourself into actually going after that goal or going after that dream, starting up that business, starting up that page, or whatever you're trying to start up, you want to attach deadlines, very effective deadlines to it, because it makes the project you're working towards very real. It also initiates that panic monster in you that realizes, hey, there's something I'm actually supposed to be working towards. And it also helps you effectively meet that deadline, whatever the deadline is. Because a lot of the times, unfortunately, as human beings, we attach our performance to our self-worth, right? For example, if I release this video and it does very great on YouTube, that means in terms of my self-worth, it helps boost my self-worth, right? Because I feel, oh my gosh, I'm amazing, people love my content, I know what I'm talking about. So that happens every single day in different ways for us. So a lot of the times when we're not working towards our project because of fear of whatever the unknown could be, we are in a way reinforcing to ourselves we are not good enough. And this is what this deadline would help eliminate, that reinforcement of you not being good enough. Because the truth of the matter is, like I said earlier, you are very motivated, you're very self-motivated, you want to be successful, you want to meet whatever this deadline is. But the issue here is you don't realize you're not working towards it because of the fear you might have, or also because you are giving into your need for instant gratification. So when you do attach that deadline, it makes you so aware and also helps better keep you on track to working towards your goal. The next tip is you want to work with people. You want to collaborate with people or have accountability partners. I mean, I do understand a lot of the projects you might be working towards are solo projects, and so there's a very slim chance of working with someone. But in the case where you can collaborate with people, I would always encourage it. So in working with other people, we always want to present our best selves, right? We always want to show that we're capable, we always want to show that we're competent, and etc. So that is one of the benefits that comes with working with another person. But if you're working on a solo project, I would encourage you to have an accountability partner. My accountability partner is my sister. I absolutely tell her everything I want to do and what the timelines are, because what that does is they tend to follow up with you. So I would say look for somebody in your life that you can absolutely trust. Tell them your goal, whatever that goal is, no matter how huge it looks. Just tell them, hey, this is what I'm going to work towards, and also encourage them to follow up with you consistently on your timelines that you have set for yourself. When you do that, chances are when you feel discouraged, or let's say you are actually procrastinating, these people are going to serve as that reminder. Those annoying teachers that we did not like in high school asking for our assignments, they'll just be like, what's up, yo? I was expecting to see your books on the shelf at my local bookstore. I was expecting to start booking your services. What's going on, right? So that's a great benefit of having an accountability partner. The next tip is I want you to change the language of fear and build for yourself a motivation to-do list. So a lot of the times, the goals, the things we procrastinate on that we think are really hard, when we look into it a layer deeper, we realize that the fear is what's holding us back a lot of the times, right? It could be fear of the unknown, it could be fear of not feeling good enough, fear that people laugh at you or your accent is going to limit you. I don't know, each of us have our different fears, and we have magnified it so much that it makes us shrivel up and not do anything. And at the end of the day, we tend to hate ourselves and sometimes throw that dream or throw that priority away. But no, that's not what we're gonna do. What I want you to do right now is I want you to write out your fears. List it all out for yourself. Pause this video for a few seconds and write some of your fears down. I'll wait. Do that. Have you done that? Great. Now that you've written your fears out, look at that fear. How does that feel? It doesn't feel great, right? One thing I want you to know is that you're the one telling yourself these stories. Nobody else is telling you these stories about you. Now the next thing I want you to do is I want you to open up another page and write your motivation list. Now, what do I mean by a motivation list? A motivation list is your why behind that priority. Why do you want to start that thing? For me, with any content that I release, it's my way of helping people. So in my motivation list, the first thing that I have on there is that I want to help people through my content, through my speeches, through my trainings, through my conversations. So I want you to write all of your motivation associated with that particular priority. So now that you've written that fear, I want you to squash that paper and throw it all out. throw that paper out, tear it up, and all I want you to focus on is the motivation to do list. The reason why I told you to write out that motivation is because that will serve as a guide every single time that fear comes up. It will serve as a guide to work towards your goal, to work towards that priority that you have been putting off for so long, right? It would also be the new language that you use to combat that fear when it rises up. And to remind myself that that feeling is invalid. There is no fact to back it up. It's just the story that I'm telling myself, and I can change that story. I have ownership of that story. And that's why it's so important to have your motivation to do this, to help you change that story that you do tell yourself. The other thing is, I want you to paste that motivation, post it up or paste it somewhere that is easily accessible for you, because that would help you during those days of immense fear. It would help shake you back up. So I'm using this video to help shake you up also, to make sure that you're focusing and you are still on track to achieving what you're trying to achieve for yourself. The next tip is breaking that goal into smaller pieces, legit bite-sized pieces. The issue here is a lot of us get so overwhelmed, super overwhelmed when we're trying to work towards a large goal. It just becomes extremely overwhelming or extremely demoralizing. Like, it just feels like you can legit feel yourself weakening at the knees because you're just like, I don't know where to start from. I don't know what to start from. What you should do is break it up. Break it up into the smallest chunk possible for you. So let's say I'm working towards a certification. I'm going to use my, what's it called again for CHRM? Well, CHRP. My sister had to remind me. So the HR certification is known as the CHRP. So let's say that's what I'm trying to work towards. The first thing I'm going to do is research the requirements of a CHRP. That's going to be my first bite-sized goal to achieve. The next step would be speaking with someone who has gotten their certification, followed by deciding when I want to complete this certification, etc. and etc. So you want to make it as easy and as digestible as possible for yourself. You want to break it into very, very small chunks, because chances are when it feels like it's easy, right? When it feels like it's easy, your central nervous system is going to say, hey girl, we can totally get this done. We can totally work towards this. Let's put Netflix down. Let's put that video down on YouTube and let's start working towards our goal. So make sure you break that big goal into very tiny bite-sized chunks for yourself to make it achievable. And lastly, this tip I find is very overlooked, but is very important. As a procrastinator, you have to reward yourself. It's very important. Like the beginning of the video, I already talked about the need for instant gratification. So while you're working to reach all of these goals, you want to reward yourself, because you're signaling to your brain that if I work hard enough, I'm going to get those pleasures that I care for. That's what you want to do for yourself. If you're only focusing on just completing the task day in and day out, chances are you're going to backslide, because you're missing a very important piece for yourself, which is the reward, giving yourself that gratification that you also cherish. So make sure, in as much as you're building your schedule, you're breaking your goals into bite-sized chunks, you have an accountability partner, you're changing the language of your fear and building your motivation list, or you're attaching deadlines, you're also including that little piece of reward for yourself, however it looks, so you can be more consistent, right? The goal is consistency here, and it's not once in a while effectiveness, but full-on consistency. See, I told you, these tips are a no-brainer. These tips are very easy, and you can legit start practicing them today. You can hit the ground running right now with those tips. Let me know in the comment section down below which tip you are going to start using today, or if you have any other tips you want to share with the community, let me know in the comment section down below.